Hey friends, welcome to another video by UFD Tech. Anyways, some of you are probably wondering about the Mohawk. In case you don't know, we did a 24-hour charity live stream for my son's genetic disorder. We actually raised money for a medical research nonprofit. And once we passed $5,000 raised, I got a blue Mohawk and we raised over $11,000. Big thanks to everybody who showed up to that. That's why I got spiky Mohawk. Anyways, let's talk about the point of today's video, which obviously you guys can probably see right here. We're currently running Furmark on our RTX 2080 Ti, and that is because I picked up a few products for another video we're working on, which I'm not going to talk about just yet, but I needed a special piece of something, and I found out that we can now get the Thermal Grizzly Carbonauts, and that got me wondering, how good will this be on our RTX 2080 Ti, especially considering we're going to be doing a full custom liquid cooling loop in partnership with EK on this. I have to take apart the shroud anyways. I have to remove the thermal paste anyways. So why don't we actually see how the Carbonaut actually does on GPUs, because most of the reviews that I've seen so far actually cover it on CPUs, and it does pretty decently, especially for being a reusable graphite thermal pad, which has amazing thermal transfer properties. But we're going to test it on the RTX 2080 Ti today, and we're going to do that after I tell you about today's video sponsor, which is .tech Domains. .tech Domains, my friends, in case you don't obviously understand what they do, they give you domain names with .tech. We actually partnered with them to get UFD.tech, especially since the channel's called UFD Tech, and that's where we host our website, UFD Deals. So now you just type in UFD.tech and it takes you to the website. It makes sense if you are into tech, and they have big brands that have gotten .tech domains such as Viacom, CES, and even Intel. They're using .tech domains, so why won't you? It makes sense. You're into tech, get a .tech domain. So if you're interested in getting your own .tech domain, you can go to go.tech/UFD and check it to see if the domain you want is available. And if so, you can use coupon code UFDTech to get 80% off 1 and 5-year subscriptions. That's a great deal. 80% off using coupon code UFDTech. Go do it. Remember, if you're into tech, get a .tech domain. Okay, sponsor spot over. As you guys can see, we're running Furmark. I actually have the fans on the 2080 Ti set to a static 70%, so we're gonna try to compare this to the stock settings on the 2080 Ti, which one of the big things about these graphite pads is the amazing thermal conductivity that they have. This is the best non-liquid metal thermal paste that you can get from Thermal Grizzly, and it has a heat dissipation rating of 12.5 watts per meter Kelvin. The Carbonaut pads, on the other hand, have a thermal dissipation rating of 62.5 watts per meter Kelvin. Liquid metal, on the other hand, is 73, so liquid metal still has a higher heat dissipation or thermal conductivity metric, but the Carbonaut pads are quite good, and they come in a variety of different sizes. Since we're working on another project with them, I bought all of the ones that I could find because I don't know what size I actually need for the project we're working on. Anyways, we have 25 by 25 millimeters, we have 32 by 32 millimeters, and then we have 38 by 38 millimeters. The 32 by 32 is meant for Intel CPUs. The 38 by 38 is meant for Intel's high-end desktop CPUs, as well as AMD's Ryzen stuff. They do have a bigger one for Threadripper. It's 51 by 68, but I don't have one of those. And then they have a 25 by 25, which is meant for NVIDIA's GPUs, except for the 2080 Ti, which is the current one that we're using. That one actually needs a special one of 31 by 25, but since we don't have that one, I'm actually just gonna have to use the 32 by 32 and try to get it to fit. So we're gonna run Furmark for a while on this thing. It's currently been running for about 10 minutes. We're gonna leave it for another 5 minutes or so. We're gonna take the temperature reading, and then we're also going to take the clock reading on it because GPU boost works according to temperatures. We're going to see what it looks like to have a 2080 Ti with no thermal paste on it, just a graphite pad, which let's actually open it up while I'm waiting, because I have to wait for this anyway, so let's just do more video while we're waiting. It's in a real sealable bag. I actually haven't taken a look at these just yet. That is a product code, and then it comes in a little sticker box. And then we have all of this kind of stuff. Come on. And there it is. There's the graphite thermal pad. Not a whole lot special to it, but that's gonna go on our GPU, and that's gonna replace the thermal paste that is currently on there. Look at that, reusable. It smells pretty nice. I like it. I would totally eat that. Do they have anything that says don't eat it? Nope. I smell a lawsuit. One of the only downfalls of the Carbonaut thermal pad is that it actually is electrically conductive, just like liquid metal would be, so you can't necessarily put it anywhere on your computer and expect it to work. It could short out certain components, but they include a warning, electrically conductive as well as highly thermally conductive. So we're gonna let this run, and then we're gonna disassemble the 2080 Ti and put the thermal pad on.
A few moments later.
Okay, it's been 15 minutes. The peak temperature that we got with just the stock configuration at 70% fan speed is 81 degrees Celsius. The average clock that it was running at was about 1815. It did go down to 1785 at one point, but 1815 was where it was hanging for the most part. So we're gonna take apart the 2080 Ti using our handy dandy iFixit ProTech toolkit. Big thanks to iFixit for sending those over. But now we're gonna get rid of this thermal paste. Oh right, I forgot. There's two systems in here. The AMD system still runs when the Intel and NVIDIA one's turned off. This is gonna be a pain in the butt because I actually have to take off the back plate first and then do everything. Good thing we have the iFixit ProTech toolkit so I can just mod everything. Just swap it out. And then I can use this to hold all the screws, which is great. That is a lot of screws. All right, the back plate should come off now. There we go. Oh, thermal pad's stuck on. We can just leave that on. I don't need to really mess with that. Okay, so now it is a size 4 hex screw. I can see why nobody has attempted to put this on a 2080 Ti. Because it's such a giant piece of work. Then we also got that right there. Oh, look at all those thermal pads just falling off. Oh, look at that GPU. That thing is huge. It's a gigantic GPU die. Got the GPU all cleaned up. And now we're basically ready, if I don't derp this thing, geez, to put the thermal pad on it. We just need to measure the die to make sure. So the recommended on Thermal Grizzly's website was 25, which that's about right, by 31. So it looks like it fits in one direction, which is this way. So we just need to shorten it to 25. I'm gonna wing it. It's the best way to do anything, Reece. So I'm gonna cut at 26. That thing cuts easier than a ham sandwich. Done. Perfect. Straight lines, firm handshakes all around. Done. All right, that shouldn't make contact with any extra bits, even if it slightly folds over. The hard part that's gonna happen with this is trying to secure this to the die while also having to like remount everything. So I'm gonna have to put this on and then like screw in from underneath. It realigns really easily because of the DisplayPort slot right here. So that has to go in this little rivulet right there. Okay, so now that that is secure, just gonna keep this tight. Okay, surgery's done. So we're gonna plug it in. Just gonna make sure this thing boots and works. This is the dumbest, because I can't even secure it since I didn't put the faceplate on.
That's jank.
That's so jank. Okay, 2080 Ti, no backplate, not secured whatsoever. Take test 1, power supply was already on. Okay, great. 3, 2. Okay, the light turns on, fans spin. Let's see if we get a display. Done, sweet. Okay, it still works. I'm gonna put everything back together now. Cut to the future. Okay, we've got it booted up. Actually, what's looking really good right now is just the idle temperature is 34 degrees, which is pretty good considering there's another system running in there, and I've measured this system at idle completely before. It was like between 35 and 40 degrees depending on the temperature in the room. So 34 degrees at idle, even with the 70% fan speed, is doing pretty well. So now it's gonna be time to run the GPU stress test. Hopefully everything is stable, 46 degrees, 47. It'll take a little while to warm up. We're gonna give it 15 minutes from the time that I'm starting to record, but the temperature doesn't seem to be spiking. The Carbonaut seems to be working pretty gosh dang well. I'll come back to you in 15 minutes.
More moments later.
Okay, so 15 minutes is basically up, and what we're seeing is that we actually have about a 2 degrees Celsius increase here, but the clocks are actually pretty mostly the same. It's bouncing between 1785 and 1830, just like it was when it was at 81 degrees. So there's no rough performance difference as far as the clock speed that's going on here, and when we tested games, everything was the same with that as well. So for a little thin carbon pad that comes with the Carbonaut, it actually does a pretty legitimate job. I'm actually kind of surprised. However, I would not have traded out my thermal paste for that. I just knew that I was going to have to clean up the thermal paste anyways, because we're getting ready to do a liquid cooling build with the Founders Edition, so I had to deconstruct it at some point anyways. So overall, I would be happy with putting this on here, especially even, let's say, a couple years down the road when my thermal paste might have degraded. Putting this on instead and just having this for longevity reasons, or putting it on now and having it not degrade over time, because one of the main things about the Carbonaut is that it is reusable and it doesn't degrade with time. So even though the thermal paste that NVIDIA put on might dry up and crack eventually, the Carbonaut's never gonna do that. The performance seemed to be pretty in line with what we wanted it to be. So I'm pretty happy with this. I don't think I'm gonna be using that for the liquid cooling builds. And in fact, I just wasted a perfectly good pad that could have been used on an Intel CPU, so I'll have to get another one. That wasn't the initial purpose behind buying these in the first place, but I'll be probably using the Cryonaut tube that I bought for the liquid cooling setup. But it's good to know that the Carbonaut is at least good enough to go on a GPU, and it does a pretty good job at it even then. So that's the end of the video. Don't forget that today's video is brought to you by .tech Domains. Let's chat about them. .tech Domains, the place to make sure that you have .tech stuff, okay? You want Reece.tech, he's into tech. Look at that guy. He's hoodie tech, hoodie.tech. Do it. Go to go.tech/UFD, check and see if your domain's available, and then enter coupon code UFDTech to save 80% off 1 and 5 year subscriptions. Do it, my friends. Go check them out. Okay, cool. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. Let me know if there's any further testing that you would like us to do with our 2080 Ti, especially before it goes under a hardline water cooling loop in this massive N2 Elite case, and then we don't really have easy access to it anymore. Just let me know. Get subscribed. I already said that. I'm Brett with the UFD Tech Channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see your smiling faces again in the next video. I love you too. Don't follow me. Bye. Pickable.